When kids are home all day, routines get lost and self-care can feel impossible. Today, we're going to cover 3 ways that are practical that can help you maintain some level of self-care throughout summer break or really any extended break that the kids are home from school. Hello and welcome to Mom's Way to Wellness. I am your host, Ida Maravillas, and today we are wrapping up our series on self-care, but I have a feeling this topic will come up again and again because as moms, we have a tendency to put our needs aside when things get busy. Finding a way to take care of ourselves is more of a journey than something we can fix in a simple one-time attempt to try to address it. I spent 19 summers with my kids when I worked in the school setting. Our time off matched up, but by the second week of summer break, I would feel exhausted from having to be on all day, being reactive to their needs, and all of the decision making that came with the transition into the summer. Talk about mental load. Talk about how our idea of rest meets the reality of time off with kids over the summer. What I realized is that I went into the summer with school year energy and the mindset of being productive, of trying to squeeze in a lot of expectations into a time that was meant to slow down. Some of the struggles included having kids of different ages with different interests and being bored without any ideas of what they could do on their own, without mom needing to come in and save the day, because I was a problem solver. I was unknowingly a people pleaser. The school year gives us a start time to the day, and after school sports and activities also gives us timelines for what we need to plan around. But during summer break, we are the ones who structure the day. And when I say we, I mean us moms. We tend to be the ones who handle logistical planning and figure out what's going to work and what needs to happen for our schedules to work. And when you are off with your kids, it's important for the expectations of what summer might look like to shift because our kids will turn to us for their needs at most stages of parenting. Eventually, I learned that self-care is even more important when it is harder to access, which includes times when kids are off from school for extended periods of time. The idea of self-care is engaging in an activity that is refreshing to you. This is something that we have visited on the podcast, that we've reviewed, and that we've been going over for this particular series. It is something that is fulfilling and life-giving. And when school is out and the kids are home for extended periods of time, it means that adjustments need to happen for how to squeeze in opportunities to take care of ourselves. Here are the 3 things we will walk through today. First, adjust your expectations for the summer. Second, adjust your expectations for the season of parenting that you are in. And third, decide what type of self-care activity can include your kids or be done while they are around, because for most of us, they are around. So let's look at each one a little bit more in detail. Step 1 is adjust your expectations for the time of year. Whether time off from school is for summer break, fall break, the holidays, or spring break, it's important to adjust your expectations for this extended time off. This particular episode is dropping in the middle of summer, so we're referring a lot more to summertime activities. So what I mean by adjusting your expectations for the time of year is to take into account what your kids will be doing when they're home from school for a long period of time. And the fact that they will be home for long periods of time, unless you're registering them for some sort of summer camp or they're going to an extended school year. Some questions that can help you to figure this out is, how will kids being home change the routine for your home? How will mornings be different? How will meal times be different? How can you be more flexible with the routines in the day? During the school year, it might be that you wake up to an alarm whereas during the summer, you might let your kids sleep in. But structure helps us to figure out what to expect rather than react to unexpected things throughout the day. So it's a matter of figuring out how your routine is going to be adjusted. What are the rhythms that are going to go into providing some sort of structure for your day? If you're still working over the summer, then this might be very different for you. If you work from home, things are going to look a lot different in terms of figuring out how lunchtime is going to look if your kids are home from lunch, whereas they would typically bring a lunch to school or eat a meal at school. It just really it just really depends on where we are in our terms of season of parenting, which actually brings us to our second step. Adjust your expectations for your season of parenting. Depending on the ages and stages of kids, that is what determines your season of parenting. Things that need to be done for them or things that they can do on their own are going to be the kinds of things that you figure out when you adjust according to their ages and their stages of development. So for example, something to consider is if the kids are going to be home all day, it won't be realistic to plan for quiet time. I highly doubt it'll be sustainable and that it will be possible and that it will be consistent to be able to have some sort of quiet time during the day while your kids are home. If the kids have a lot of energy, spending time outside can help give them an opportunity to get that energy out. If your kids are younger, they may look for you more often with particular needs, particular wants, or wants that feel like needs because they're kids. They don't have the same kind of way that we might as moms define what is needed versus what is wanted, or they might get hungry more often because they're bored. It really just varies. Another thing to consider is that if your kids are a little older, they may be able to start to build some self-sufficiency and take care of doing some things for themselves rather than ask you to do it for them. This is, again, going to vary as your kids get older. Summertime is an opportunity to start to transfer some of those self-sufficient responsibilities to them, give them some expectations for things that they could handle on their own before they come to you for whatever it is that they're going to ask for. And step 3, and this matters. Step 3 is decide what type of self-care activities can include your kids or can be done while they're around. In episode 31, we touched on how it's important to incorporate self-care into realistic everyday lives that we live rather than looking like a vacation from the things that we have to manage. And if you go back and listen to that episode, there are times and there are places for us to be able to go and attend a retreat or go outside of the home and get something done for us that feels like self-care. But there are other times when we really need to adjust and we really need to embrace being around our kids and model to them what it looks like and be in proximity of them, be in the same space with them when we are practicing some aspect of self-care. Self-care is not something that has to be done in isolation. It can be done as a family. Some examples might include going for a walk together, having some time to read side by side. This is where I used to enjoy the library programs and being able to take the kids to check out books where they would read. Honestly, I wish I had read more. My own interests when they were younger, I used to take up that time to be productive instead of spending it slowing down with them. And so this is something that I share from my own experience, a way that you can figure out how to slow down and model something that is beneficial to everyone. You can each have your own books and That way, you each have your own interests, and it's something that you can talk about later on. If your kids are not independent readers, then this is an opportunity for story time. And you can also sit outside while the kids play, just taking in the sun, just taking in the nice weather. Whatever season of parenting you are in, it can be easy to let technology or a never-ending to-do list take away from the extra daylight hours we get during the summer. This is a time where we get the opportunity in most places and in the country here in the Midwest at least to enjoy warmer weather, more opportunities to be outdoors, and more time with our kids being around. Self-care is about progress and not perfection. I encourage you to embrace this season by finding ways to slow down. As you move through the rest of the summer or any extended time when your kids are home from school, I challenge you to pick 2 self-care activities that you can incorporate into the rest of your summer. If you found some helpful information in this episode, be sure to subscribe to the show and share this episode with any other mom who can use this encouragement. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you thought of someone who can use the encouragement that you received from this episode, please share it with them. If you would like to receive the monthly newsletter and insider information about the show, you can sign up to be part of the Mom's Way to Wellness community at idamaravillas.com.